Good morning. Thanks for starting your Thursday with us. I wished it was Friday. I thought it was Friday when I woke up. You're watching Spectrum News 1. I'm Sashel Reed.
And I'm Pete Servakis. Common theme of this pairing is that we always wish it's Friday. Every day of the week, we wish it's Friday. No, I'm just
Friday's
kidding.
a great day.
It is September 15th. We'll call it a Friday Eve. We're now less than 2 months away from November's midterms, and the newest Marquette Law poll zeroed in on which issues are most important to voters in our state. Top concerns listed in the poll: inflation, crime, election accuracy, public schools, and violence. Inflation was the top concern in the August poll as well.
Another top concern, student debt forgiveness. The latest poll data shows Wisconsin is split on whether they approve or disapprove of the president's loan relief plan. Spectrum News 1's Savannah Tomei explains those new numbers.
The latest Marquette University law poll was released Wednesday. This is the first one since President Joe Biden's plan was announced to forgive up to $20,000 in student loan debt per student. The numbers show the Badger State is divided on this issue. 46% of Wisconsinites support this plan to forgive up to $10,000 for most students and up to $20,000 for students who took Pell Grants, which are usually for people from exceptionally low-income families. Meanwhile, 50% of Wisconsinites do not support this plan. Now, one key talking point has been that people who didn't go to college wouldn't support debt forgiveness. But according to the poll, that's not true. Instead, there was one key factor that determined how likely someone here in Wisconsin is to support student loan relief.
Age is the big difference. About 75% of people 18 to 29 favor loan forgiveness. It drops off to about 50-50 in the next age group in their 30s and early 40s, and then falls further with older voters.
The Marquette poll is our biggest public benchmark to gauge how candidates are doing leading up to Election Day. So, of course, the latest poll covered that, too. And the biggest shift that we saw came in the race for U.S. Senate. Back in August, Mandela Barnes was ahead of Ron Johnson by 7 points. But the most recent numbers show Ron Johnson actually leading Barnes by 1 point. Johnson at 49, while Barnes had 48. Now, this survey was among likely voters. So these are the people who say they will definitely be voting on November 8th, and the margin of error is about 5%. So statistically, this is a dead heat. Meanwhile, in the race for governor, things haven't changed much there. Current Governor Tony Evers has the support of 47% of likely voters, while Republican challenger Tim Michels has 44%. And of course, that margin of error means this is another super close race. And what do close races usually mean? They mean that we can expect even more political ads. So brace yourselves and know we only have to count down 55 more days until November 8th. In Madison, Savannah Tomei, Spectrum News.
And the latest Marquette poll also asked people about crime and how safe they feel going about their everyday lives statewide. 76% of people say they feel safe on a daily basis, and political views didn't change people's perspectives on the question. Democrats, Republicans, independents all had pretty much the same breakdown. What did make a difference was location. 52% of people who live in the city of Milwaukee feel safe, while 48% worry about crime in their day-to-day lives. Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson addressed that growing concern for violence in the city, including multiple shootings overnight. Johnson says one of the biggest issues is access to firearms.
Too many people have too much access to guns, those folks who should not have them, and then we see deadly results on the streets of Milwaukee. Something that I do not want to see. No person in Milwaukee wants to see this, and that's why we have to continue to work with our partners at other levels of government too, in addition to the work that we do on the ground at the local level, to stop what we see day in and day out in cities like Milwaukee across the United States.
As of this morning, there have been more than 160 homicides in the city of Milwaukee so far this year, roughly 30 more than the same time last year.
4 workers at a Waukesha private school have been arrested in connection to a child abuse case. Waukesha police say one of those people has already been charged. The other 3 have been released, but more charges could be coming for them. The Lawrence School's students are mostly infants and toddlers, according to police. They say the school was also 50% over capacity, which is supposed to be regulated by the state. With that school now shut down for the foreseeable future, the school district of Waukesha is working to place students from Lawrence, which is private, again, not part of the district, into other 4K programming.
Fire crews in Madison went from dealing with one emergency to two. Crews were initially on the scene of a two-vehicle crash as they rescued an unresponsive driver and 3 passengers. Don't know their condition this morning, but during that response, firefighters noticed that a school bus stopped nearby, had smoke pouring out of the back windows. They were able to evacuate the bus. It was full of middle school students, while the bus driver put out the fire at the back of the bus. Everyone in that incident was okay.
Attorneys for the family of a man killed crossing a drawbridge in Milwaukee want answers from the city. 77-year-old Richard Dujardin was here on vacation from Rhode Island. A remote operator with the city opened the Kilbourne Avenue drawbridge while Richard and his wife were walking across. Family lawyer says the lights and the gates came down after they were already on the bridge. While his wife was okay, Richard had to cling to the side rail for several minutes trying to save himself before falling 71 feet to his death.
We call this, in my line of work, a never event. Something like this should never, ever, ever happen. A bridge getting raised when a pedestrian in plain sight is on it and hasn't cleared, and the gates have already come down behind him, and the bells have stopped ringing. That's why we believe that the video feed is directly behind you and would give a full view of that. These turrets, even though there's 4 here, and even though this bridge is twice as wide, both for pedestrians on both sides and for car traffic on both sides, than any other bridge, this bridge is not manned.
So as you heard the lawyer say, there are cameras the city runs in that area. The camera on the actual bridge is not actually set to record. Attorney Jay Urban now asking anyone with information to contact him.
Coming up, how Aaron Rodgers plans to remind the Chicago Bears who really owns them. Dennis Krause with the full breakdown of this week's game coming up.